I think we can all agree 2020 has been a year unlike any other.
Truly unprecedented times.
So I'd like to share with all of you a book that's helped me get through a lot this year. Ah, my favorite page. You know, I feel like in such uncertain times, I've never felt more distance from other people. And yet, I've never felt closer to all of you. So I just want to say, to all of you out there who've supported and watched my videos, thank you. And here's to a better 2021.
Hey, you got any more cookies?
Oh, sorry, bud. These are the last 3.
2020 strikes again.
Hello all, I'm Josh, this is Josh Builds Stuff, and today I want to share with all of you my top 10 LEGO sets of 2020. And I guess I don't need this thing on right now, and hopefully in the very near future, I won't need it at all. Full disclosure, these sets will all be ones which I have personally purchased in 2020, though I will throw in a few honorable mentions that are worth noting that came out this year as well. So let's get started with number 10. The joke is that I could make it look like I'm saying anything while wearing a mask. Maybe I should just do all of these videos while wearing a mask. It would make for a lot less editing on my part. Starting with number 10 is the Avengers Tower Battle set from Marvel. I'll be honest, this set really only made the list because I wanted to put something from Marvel in here, and of all the sets that came out this year, this was the Marvel set that I liked best. I would like to see something new or different in 2021 for the LEGO Marvel line, other than mechs or playsets, but even so, the new sets coming out next year look pretty good. Now, on to number 9. Coming in at number 9 was the International Space Station. I believe this was a LEGO Ideas set, or at least it started out that way, and then it got rejected, and then it was rejected, or rather accepted, and turned into an actual LEGO set. I think the finished model looks really great, and I will always buy LEGO space sets, so please make more, LEGO. Coming in at number 8 was the UCS A-Wing Starfighter, one of the few sets that I have close enough at hand to actually be able to show off today. I think any UCS LEGO Star Wars set would have probably made my top 10 list this year. This was maybe the only one that came out. Maybe there was one other I'm not remembering. But next year, maybe next year we're getting the Republic gunship. I guess we'll still have to wait and see on that. It hasn't been announced as of yet. But yeah, basically if LEGO makes any large-scale Star Wars set that is a ship, I am going to buy it. And it's probably going to make my top 10 sets of that year. At number 7 is also from LEGO Star Wars. It is the Resistance ITS Transport. This set was maybe my favorite of the summer 2020 Star Wars line for many reasons, as I outlined in the review video, but it is a ship which I actually stood inside at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge in Walt Disney World, Florida, where there's a whole ride, and you go into a ship that this LEGO set is modeled after, and it's beautiful. The whole story behind it is great, and I mean, the other Star Wars sets that came out this year were okay. They were decent, they were a little overpriced, and the sets coming out next year are okay, at least the couple that they've announced so far, but I have high hopes for later in the year. But yeah, this Resistance ITS Transport was probably my favorite out of that batch this year. At number 6 on this top 10 list was not one set. Okay, I'm cheating a little bit, but it was 3 sets. LEGO Star Wars came out with 3 new helmets this year. The Stormtrooper, the Boba Fett helmet, and the TIE Fighter pilot helmet, and I think each of these sets look really great. There's no minifigures, there's no playability, but there is all the displayability. And so these 3 sets, 60 bucks a piece, I think they're a great bunch of little sets. And for someone who likes to display things behind them on a bunch of shelves, these sets were a must-buy for me. And I think we're getting 3 new busts in 2021. I don't remember exactly who we're getting. Maybe a Scout Trooper, Darth Vader, and someone else. I should look that up before releasing this video. But I won't. That brings us to number 5, and man, we're making pretty good time through this list. Thanks for sticking around for this long. Pour some out for the homies. That's gonna smell later. No use crying over that. Coming in at number 5 is also kind of not one set, more kind of just the new LEGO art line, but specifically the Sith set. At least that's the one that I have on display here. I also got the Iron Man set. I think these, again, super displayable. They look super cool, and I even made some of my own models, which we may or may not talk about later in the video, but these are great. I love when LEGO does something new and something for adults, which, I mean, LEGO did a lot this year with all their 18+ sets, but I really like these a lot, and they're displayable, and you can hang them on your walls, which you can't say about a lot of Lego sets, except for maybe the Batwing, which also came out this year, which I also don't have, but that should be on my honorable mention list. I don't think that made the list, but yeah, add the Batwing to the honorable mention list. Batwing to the honorable mention list. At number 4 on our list is this, the Ghostbusters Ecto-1. It's big, it's beautiful. I think I said that same phrase several times when making that review video. That video was also a lot of fun to make. I also watched Ghostbusters a lot while making this set, so I would encourage you to watch both of those, in fact, my review video and the movie Ghostbusters. The funny thing is, after LEGO released this Ecto-1 model, I heard a similar sentiment being echoed from a lot of fans out there, myself included, and that is that we really like this set, but a set which we may like even more would be a DeLorean, or rather the DeLorean time machine from the Back to the Future franchise. I don't know, give us any version, give us a version like the old LEGO Cusco model where you had some interchangeable parts to make it the version that you desired, but I think that's what all of us fans would really like to see next, and we don't know if it's possible with licensing reasons or whatever else, but I think we can all agree that that set would sell very well and very quickly, and I myself would certainly pick one up. Number 3 on my list is this set, the LEGO Nintendo Entertainment System. Obviously this set came with both the NES console and a cool old vintage TV where you could literally play through LEGO Super Mario World 1-1. I shouldn't say you could literally play through it, but you know, as close as you could get in LEGO form. I don't think it's much surprise to anyone that this set would make my top 10 list. I think this set would make a lot of people's top lists of this year, or maybe all time. I don't know, the set, the theme, the build, the construction, the playability, it checks all the boxes, and I mean the nostalgia box most of all, which actually brings us to my second favorite set this year. Coming in at number 2 on my list is a set which unfortunately I do not have on hand right now. That's because it got slightly disassembled to move earlier this year, but I intend to rebuild it once I have a place to display it. But I mentioned nostalgia, and that's because number 2 on my list is the Pirates of Barracuda Bay set. That was, of course, a set which could be built into a big, cool-looking pirate hideaway island, or you could take those same components and build them into a LEGO pirate ship, which will pretty much always make a top 10 list of mine, except I guess there was another LEGO pirate ship which came out earlier this year, and I think that came to number 13 on my list, so it didn't quite make this list. But if you know that new version of the pirate ship, the Black Seas Barracuda, is based on an old LEGO set from like 1989, and I think was re-released a few years later, but in any case, I had that old pirate ship, and now I have the new pirate ship. Of course, I have neither of them in front of me now, but the Pirates of Barracuda Bay set, aside from just the pirates being such a fun theme, that's an actual theme that I care about the minifigures in a whole lot. Besides that just being a fun theme overall, the nostalgia factor, and then the large size of the build, the complexity, just everything about the set just made it, like I said, one of my favorite sets of this year, but not my favorite set of this year. My favorite set of this year is... well, it is not a LEGO set, so to say. It is a Technic set, which might surprise you as much as it surprises me. I think this was the only LEGO Technic set I bought all year. It is, of course, the Lamborghini Sion, FKP 37 or whatnot. This set is huge, it's beautiful, it's complex, and like I said, it's a Technic set, so it's not a traditional LEGO set. And yet, it's somehow my favorite set of this year. The mechanics behind it, the size, the look, the theme of just Lamborghinis are cool in general. There's so many great things about this set, and I'm so excited to have it. And like you can see, it's close enough on hand for me to pick up and show you now, so you know I like it, because this one didn't head over to the storage unit, at least not quite yet, and hopefully will not for quite some time. And so for all of the reasons listed above, this is my number 1 LEGO set of 2020. And so those may be my favorite official LEGO sets that came out this year. However, they were not my favorite builds of this year. You may know what I'm getting at. That honor goes to my custom LEGO art. That's right, I built this custom Stormtrooper and custom Mandalorian art a little earlier this year, and man, I am proud of myself. Not to toot my own horn, but toot toot. And if you're new around here, you may know that I don't design a lot of custom sets, and so it was actually a lot of fun to go through the whole process of designing these sets and then building them and getting all the parts ordered and whatnot. Even though obviously these are highly modeled after the official LEGO art sets, the designs are still my own, and I'm very proud of them. I also made free instructions for this Mandalorian art, which you can get at the rebrickable link that I will put in the description below. As for the Stormtrooper, I still plan to make instructions for him, also again for free, but I haven't done that yet. And with the new sets coming out in 2021, it may take me a little bit of time to get those done, but you know, you can just, here, look at the picture. This is how you build it. It's like this. So those are my top 10 sets from this year that I actually purchased, but a couple of honorable mentions that didn't make that list, mainly because I didn't buy them, but they're still worth mentioning honorably. Let's start with Yoda's lightsaber. That was a gift with purchase, I think, when you bought the LEGO Star Wars Mos Eisley Cantina set. Neither of those sets I have bought, but I mentioned the lightsaber because it's an exciting prospect that LEGO may officially make more lightsaber sets, and so that's something worth looking forward to in the future. Also worth mentioning the Adventures with Mario set, mainly because the whole Mario theme is pretty large and exciting, and there's a bunch of new sets and accessories coming out for that line, none of which I think I'll buy. Also, the grand piano that came out earlier this year, that set is huge, it's beautiful, and it's so expensive and so large that I would have nowhere to display it, so I also skipped out on it, but I would be remiss if I did not mention just how big and beautiful that set is. Not as big and beautiful, of course, as the Ecto 1, which I did buy. One of the coolest looking sets to come out this year, which I did not buy, but probably will still buy and probably would regret not eventually buying, is set number 10273, that big, cool looking haunted house set. Not only does the set look really great, it has a bunch of really cool looking play features, but it also has a factor that apparently is key to determining whether or not I will buy a LEGO set, and that is nostalgia. It has a bunch of cool old references to like LEGO Adventure sets and like the old Egyptian sets and some of the old Explorer sets. There's some cool little hidden Easter eggs throughout this haunted house, and so I will probably eventually pick this up, but you know, I just wasn't at a place where I felt like spending another $250. I think that's what that set cost. I wasn't at a place to spend that much money at that particular time, so like I said, I may still pick up that set. And finally on our honorable mention list was set 10276, that's the Coliseum. I only mention that because that's the new officially largest LEGO set ever released, like 9,000 or 10,000 some pieces. I would still rather have the UCS Millennium Falcon, which I do have. So that was my list of the top 10 best LEGO sets to have come out in 2020 that I also happen to have personally purchased in 2020. So let me know if you agree or disagree with my list, if you think it's in a bad order, if you think some things are on there that shouldn't have been, or some things aren't on there that should have been. Let me know in the comments below. Then again, it's a little weird if you do disagree with my list, because I wasn't giving you a list of the objectively best LEGO sets from this year. This was my own subjective list. So, I mean, feel free to let me know if you think that I was wrong, but you know, in the end, it's my opinion versus yours, and I'm always going to choose my own opinion. Also, I've got to stop drinking this milk. It's been sitting here for so long. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, be sure to like, subscribe, and tell your friends. Again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next year. But don't be that guy who, like, on January 1st, the next time you see someone, you're like, I haven't seen you since last year, which was only actually a day ago. Don't be that guy partially because, one, that's lame, and two, because I'm that guy, and that's one of my favorite bits to use. So don't steal my bit, get your own bit. I'll see you next year.
3, 2, 1. Happy New
Year!
Is it over? Is everything fixed?
Nope, it's just a different number on the calendar. Everything else is still the same. There's still a pandemic, you should still wear a mask, and you should still remember what's really important in life. Friends, family, and loved ones who you hold close in your heart, even if you can't hold them close in person. Yet. Happy New Year.